Since the Lincoln Continental went extinct in 2002, Lincoln hasn't had a flagship of any kind. And in fact, in general, the perception of the brand hasn't been the greatest. Now, the introduction of the Lincoln MKZ was a step in the right direction, but to really boost your brand's reputation, you need to show the world what you're capable of creating in the form of a flagship. That's where the new Lincoln Continental comes into play. Now, in spring of 2015, Lincoln dropped the bomb on everyone, displaying the Continental concept at the New York Auto Show. With looks that could take down a Bentley Flying Spur, a gorgeous, majestic-looking paint job, and huge wheels, the Continental looked to be a promising step in the right direction for Lincoln. Unfortunately, ergonomics tweaked some of the designs to make it feasible for selling in the US markets. The trunk had a beautiful design in the concept that actually was completely impractical, because in order to get stuff into the trunk, you had to lift it extremely high. The door handles had to be tweaked a little bit, and some of the design was changed. We don't, of course, have that beautiful two-tone blue paint available. Still though, it is a gorgeous car. Now, the base Continental starts out at $44,700, a good deal for what you're getting. This, however, is the top-of-the-line Black Label trim with a host of upgrades, bringing the total price to $78,000. Lincoln's new brand focus for the Continental is quiet luxury. In their words, it's a combination of serenity, elegance, and power. Now, in terms of elegance, the design definitely is beautiful, and there's some innovations that make the design look different than most other vehicles on the road. For one, the E-latch door handles that are actually built into the chrome window trim and not on the door themselves lower down like you'd normally expect. Now, it was an engineering nightmare, and I'm sure the quality control people were tearing their hair out, but they did so in a pretty good job. You can actually open the door in one sweep, just clicking the button inside of the latch. Although on the inside, from the interior, we've got another button to open, and it's kind of in an awkward location. When you press it and try to open the door, you can't push the door with your hand because it's too close to the actual hinge. You get no leverage. You kind of have to push the door open with your elbow, which takes some getting used to. We've also got gorgeous HID headlights. They have 5 different lenses on each side. Reminds me a bit of the Bugatti Chiron, although this, of course, came out first. Regardless, it looks expensive. Lincoln also features its now signature star mesh grille. It's large, it's imposing, it looks elegant, and it really finishes off the beautiful front design of the Continental. This is a very good looking vehicle. It looks great from the front, at an angle, the side, the rear. They absolutely knocked it out of the park with the design. So what about power? Well, there's 3 engine options. We've got a 3.7 liter naturally aspirated V6, and then there's 2 turbo options, a 2.7 liter twin turbo V6 and a 3.0. Now, this is the 3.0 liter twin turbo engine, the top of the line, making 400 horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque. That is a lot, even for a car that weighs 4,600 pounds. Coupled with a 6-speed automatic transmission that doesn't shift nearly as fast as it should, you're able to do 60 miles an hour in 5.5 seconds. There's paddle shifters mounted on the steering wheel, but they are incredibly flimsy, made of very cheap plastic. I feel like if I push on them too hard, I could actually snap them off the steering wheel. In terms of responsiveness, even when you put the transmission in sport mode, it often denies shifts and takes quite a bit of time to actually respond to your inputs. Kind of wish they just got rid of those altogether or put in a different transmission, perhaps the 10-speed like in the Ford Raptor. Through learnings for the development of the Focus RS, this has a complex all-wheel drive system. It's actually able to send 100% of the torque to just one individual wheel at a time to get you out of sticky situations and help you feel a little bit more confident on the road when there's inclement weather. On the interior, design is equally stunning. Get this, 30-way power adjustable seats. Now, these are an option, but I've never experienced a seat that's able to contour to your body, that's customizable quite like this. We've got an almost ridiculous amount of buttons on the door here to control the seat. We of course have heated seats, and they're also ventilated, and we'll talk about the back. There's also heated and ventilated seats back there as well. Let's click the plus button here to bring up on the infotainment screen all of the adjustable features. We can go all the way from individual thigh supports, the left one can move individually from the right one, to individually customizing the lower back versus the upper back, the bolsters, lumbar. It's actually staggering how much control you have. And I'm actually gonna make a dedicated video on some of the unique features of the Lincoln Continental because it has some things that not a lot of other cars do. We've also got a 19 Rebel audio system that sounds great. I tried it out with some royalty-free music. I like it. What about in the back? So we've got a $4,300 rear seat package. That comes with rear seats that are 4-way power adjustable. They can recline, you can even get a massage, and they're heated and cooled. It's an absolutely serene experience from the back seat. Also, when you pull down the center console, you have access to climate control, Sync 3, radio, anything you want. You can even control the passenger seat from the rear right side seat back there in order to give yourself some extra legroom if you're being chauffeured. For Black Label cars, there are 3 different themes. It reminds me, and perhaps it's inspired a bit by, the different Inspired By collection that Rolls-Royce has. This is the Thoroughbred theme. We've got jet black leather and chestnut upholstery. Then there is Chalet, which is based on, well, ski slopes in the Alps. I like that interior the best. It's this nice cream white. And then we have Rhapsody as well. From a technology standpoint, the Continental is loaded as well. We've got a 360-degree surround view camera, making parking very easy, auto-dimming rear view mirror, pre-collision assist. The car can drive itself within the lanes. It even has remote start because it is an American car, something that you can't really get on European cars due to emissions regulations. And there's even a Find My Car feature in case you lose it in a parking lot. So what's it actually like to drive? Well, one complaint I have is that the steering wheel is too small. It's wrapped in nice leather, although it's creased in so many different ways where the stitching is, it's not as comfortable to the touch as a lot of other vehicles are. However, it's very quiet in here. The steering is nice and light. It rides over bumps well, but not as comfortable as something like a CT6 or a G90, probably its main top 2 competitors. Overall, though, it is a relaxing experience. I imagine if you spend $4,300 for the rear seat package, you'd probably want to spend most of your time reclined in the back there. But if you are driving it, it's not bad. There are some issues I have with the build quality. Of course, it looks really nice, but when you start touching certain areas, it doesn't feel as nice as it looks. For instance, for the climate control, this switch here for the fan speed feels incredibly cheap. I mean, like not even worthy of being in a $10,000 car, let alone something that costs nearly $80,000. We've got interesting controls that work pretty well for the heated and cooled seats as well as the climate control. I don't really like the location of the volume knob on the steering wheel. That's not a knob, it's actually a switch. But other than that, these seats are so comfortable. You've got great visibility, tons of space in the interior, and I think they did do a fantastic job with the Lincoln Continental. Considering they haven't built a car like this for 14 or 15 years, they did a very, very great job. Are there some things they can improve upon? Of course, and I'm sure the next generation of Continental will have those things, but overall, good job, Lincoln. Well, special thanks to Corporate Auto for providing the car for this review. Make sure to check them out. Those guys are awesome. Link in the description below. If this is your first time watching the channel, thanks so much for watching. Make sure to click that subscribe button and click the bell to be notified when I post a new review or video. There's some awesome stuff coming out. You don't want to miss it. Also, I am installing the fart can exhaust on the Lamborghini Huracan. If you go to my Instagram at VehicleVirgins, you'll see I started taking some measurements. Don't worry, guys, it's coming. I hope you enjoyed this video. Look forward to seeing you next time.